Hello to you and yours. Welcome to Made for More. I am Jeremy Clevin, your host, and I am very, very excited to bring to all of you a legend in the real estate industry. We're going to go with a legend, not just in real estate actually, but a legend if you happen to own a TV and watch that at any point in time over the course of your life. Welcome, Doug Hopkins, to the show today, sir.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Always good to hang out with you.
Hey, you know what? It's good to hang out with you too, and happy to have you today. We're going to be diving into so much, good stuff. Where you began, how you've built your business, how you're continuing to, deliver a message to the marketplace that's always current and relevant, and how that continues to evolve. I mean, it's just very, very impressive. But again, man, a legend within the real estate community. I mean, you recognize that, no?
No, man, no. Listen, my life has been a whirlwind, and I have no idea how I got here. Honestly, it's been a heck of a ride. That I can say. It could happen to a bunch of people, and fortunately, I was, God picked me to be an influence on people and be blessed to really have the best team around me. Everyone's like, "Oh, Doug, how did you do it? How did you do it?" It's not me, it's my team, and I've put together a really fantastic team all around me, and. What's the saying? If you want to go far, go by yourself. Or if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, go together. And I really took that in about 6-7 years ago. And that's what the growth that you're seeing. That's why you got to see my ugly mug on TVs and billboards all over the town.
I mean, it speaks to, and this is one of the things I wanted to get to at some point throughout this today, is it speaks to the human being that you are. I think there's so many people in this industry. I would like to believe, let's just keep this positive, I would like to believe that the majority of people in this industry are positive, productive, want to help the community, put the consumers first and the people first. Sadly in the world, let's just be honest, it's not always the case. In this industry, it's not always the case. But you are somebody that cares deeply about what you're doing, cares deeply about the consumer, and puts them first. You're not just a beautiful face on TV. You're not just a beautiful face on TV trying to buy people's homes. I mean, you care about the community. I've always set out since day one. I've said this to you a whole bunch of times, and I know you lead with your heart, with your team and your people as well. So again, you're very humble to say that it's about the team, but you're a great leader, and you put people first, right? So.
No, I appreciate that. I think. Man, I get to go into living rooms every single day, and I'm still going out and doing 2, 3, sometimes 4 or 5 appointments a day, and in living rooms, and I come across a lot of crazy stuff, but the stuff that I won't accept and I can't accept is people that are being scammed, and it's happening more and more, it's been frustrating because you try to deal with adult protective services. There's a lot of romance scams going on there, catfishing and stuff, where people are thinking that they're getting married to a person they've never met, and you explain this to a lot of people, and they're like, "There's no way anyone would fall for that." It's happening monthly, where I'm getting that, and even more than 2-3 times a month now. Where people are literally getting scammed into selling their house, and I will not do it. And I've done everything in my power to try to stop it, to try to stop the sale, to get a hold of family members to try to help them. I will not close a deal that I even suspect that is happening, because I did close one because I didn't know, and I started asking her questions, and she kind of went back a little bit. And so I'm like, well, I mean, it sounds like, I'm like, have you ever met this person? Because that's the big key, is a lot of them, they have never met them. It's all been through texts and chats and whatnot. And she said, oh yeah. So I went through with the sale, and then I got a call 2 weeks later with her screaming and writhing in pain and agony. She had just sold her house, lost all the equity in their home. Thankfully, she had a 3-week post-possession, and she was getting $5,000 back because we held back $5,000 for the post-possession. And that will change you when you hear somebody that lost everything, mid-70s, homeless, doesn't know where to go, has no money, no job, and has to call her family members and tell them. And not only that, but heartbroken as well, because she thought she was getting married to this man that she was in love with. And
legitimately
yeah, in love
right.
with. That never met, but they had over a year had created a relationship.
Right.
And that relationship was now gone when she realized that the money was gone, and once he took everything, that was it. That's the last she's heard from him. And she just lost her whole self-esteem as well. So I raised a bunch of money for her and got her back on her feet. And
I just love that.
And
I love that.
Yeah, and it's happening day after day after day, and I thought it was important to talk about that on the show, because it's important for people to remind their parents or their grandparents that these are happening, especially if one of them have just recently passed, because that's what they prey on.
Yep.
Is people that are alone, especially women that have been married for 30, 40, 50 years, and then now they're alone, and that's what they prey on, and it sucks. There's a special place in hell for people that
100%. 100. I mean, and again, this was something that I was wanting to get to kind of down the road in this discussion, but I love that we're starting here because it's so important for me, and it's so important for us, and it's so important for our industry as a whole to lead with the heart and lead with value, and like I said, to lead with putting the consumer first. And any industry, if we're doing that, I believe that it will lead to not just good karma, but it will lead to more success, and it will lead to more positive things continuing to happen around our lives.
I hope so, and I hope we can put some things in place to protect these people. Yeah. Unfortunately, if Adult Protective Services finds them of sound mind, they say you can do whatever you want. If you want to sell your house and give them all the proceeds to some guy you've never met, then go ahead and do that. Right. And I've talked to agents that we've said no, and I see it come up, and I'll talk to the agents and tell them, hey, just this person's getting scammed. Yeah. And a lot of times they're like, well, they try to step in and do something as well, but some just are like, well, she can do whatever she wants with the money, and you need to back off. And
I can vouch the fact that you do this, that you operate like this. We see thousands of transactions every single month that come through the brokerage. Here at My Home Group, obviously, you are with us here at My Home Group. Honored to obviously have you with us, and hope to be a great partner for you and for your business. But I see what we see those transactions. We see, like I said, you putting people first. There's other folks out there right now, and I'm not going to name any names, right? I mean, there's other folks out there that maybe some of them are on TV, or they're doing other forms of marketing or whatever else, that are pretending to be this persona to the public. Some of them aren't even the actual person, right? They aren't even, they're literally a marketing figure, or they're a face to what's going on. Yeah. And again, not only are you in the trenches still, or the face on TV, but you're in the trenches still. You're the one showing up on appointments, and you can't go to every single one because you've built a great team and you have great people around you. But a lot of times when people want Doug, they get Doug.
Yeah, I've gone to, I usually do the East Valley, because a few years back I was like, this is too much, I can't keep going. So I usually just do the East Valley. But what the heck else am I going to do, man? I'm a one-trick pony.
You don't play golf.
I play a little bit of golf,
okay.
Not very well.
But
yeah. So I did probably about 6 or 7 years ago. I decided, hey, I was going to be the CEO of the organization. Yeah. And I stopped going to appointments, and I hired a bunch of people and was training them and whatnot. And after about 3 weeks, I pulled whatever was left of my hair off the top of my head, and I'm like, I can't be in there. Yeah, I can't be in an office all day long. I mean, I'm a people person. I want to go out and look at houses. I love looking at houses. I love, I love finding solutions to sellers' problems. That's what makes me, I think, different than most. Is I really listen to the client and try to figure out.
That's a good
the
point
best
right there.
thing.
I want to hone in on that, right? Because a lot of times people ask, what's the point of my business? What am I doing? What's the point of any business? And I think a lot of people will first say, well, to make money, right? And that's a byproduct of solving a problem. And you've led with solving a problem for homeowners,
Yeah.
right? For people that want to sell quickly, that don't want to go through what can sometimes be a grueling process, time on market, inspections, showings, having to disrupt their life, so you're solving a problem for those people. And so that in itself is a niche, right? That's of what, so how important, in I guess twofold, when did you decide in your career that this is what I'm going to do? And the second part, how important is identifying a niche in this business?
Got it. So in '94, I got licensed, and I was a regular real estate agent, traditional stuff. But I had a client that came to me on one of my listings, and it was a listing that was in really bad shape, and he wound up buying it to flip it. And then his name was Glenn Margatek. I still remember his name.
That's a fun name to say.
Yeah, he moved back to Virginia, and he became my first investor client. And I was really good. This is in the late '90s. I was really good at going through MLS and combing through and finding the deals. And I was also buying HUD foreclosures and VA foreclosures, and I started getting excellent at those. And so I would find him the deals. I'd make my $3,000, and he'd go and make 30 or 40 grand. And I'm like, man, I gotta do this. And so one day I went down to the auctions, the foreclosure auctions downtown, and my life changed. I met some people, and I started helping them buy homes from the auctions. So I was really good at comping houses. So I would say anything in the East Valley, give me the East Valley deals. I'll comp them out for you and put a number on them, and of what you should pay for it, and then give me first shot, and I'll go and find a buyer for them. And so I became their go-to guy. I worked every day for free, but they would give me the first shot at buying those houses. So they were my first mentors, and it wound up being really good. I sold over 1,000 homes for them, and they didn't have to pay me a dime.
Wow. Just to learn the ropes, cut your teeth,
Mm-hmm.
and have opportunities to take those down.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then some things happened where they got it was ethical. They crossed an ethical boundary for me, so I wound up opening up my own company, and the rest is history.
Yeah. I mean, to ultimately do this yourself, right? So how long has it been technically that you have been essentially your own investor, your own buyer?
2007.
Okay.
So about 19 years now.
Okay. So lots of folks out there, right, that are, I'm a big believer if you're in the real estate business, you should be a homeowner as well. You should be an investor at times or look for opportunities to build wealth through real estate.
Yep.
So whether you are in the business, and let's call it a mega business that you've built, or whether you're just an individual, agent or investor that's trying to build a portfolio, how do you identify a deal right out of the gates?
So to me, any house is a deal.
Any house is a deal.
Like I'll buy anything.
Okay.
It's just a matter of how do you dispose of that asset the best? What's the best solution for that asset? Is it holding as a rental? Is it just putting it on the market as it sits? We call those wholetails. We wholetail it, put it on there.
Yeah.
Is it a full remodel, full gut job? Everyone is different. If I'm going to hold it, it's got a cash flow. I'm not going to buy a $700,000 house to hold on to. It just doesn't make sense. You can't cash flow it large enough. I tried the Airbnb a little bit to do that. I got my butt kicked on that. I'll tell you, I came in at the end of the road on that one, and it was got it all ready. It was great. We just ready. The Super Bowl was in town. I got it all ready, put it all furnished, all brand new stuff. And the night before the first person was supposed to go in there, somebody stole every last thing out of that house.
Oof.
So so I had to redo everything in there, and then it rented out for about a month or two, and then it just was vacant forever, and I'm just like, so I just turned it into a regular rental. Every time I go outside of my lane a little bit, I seem to struggle. If like if I try commercial, I've tried doing some commercial deals. I get my butt handed to me. Same thing with land. Land, I still own land that I bought in 2006 that's probably worth about 75% of what I paid for it. So,
So you're staying in your lane.
I have to
your
stay in
buy
my lane.
box,
Yes.
residential.
Yeah. So when you say niche, I love, you know, the buy and fix and flip model and the wholesale model. So we wound up a lot of we're doing 100 and usually between 100 and 130 deals a month now. So what I
100 deals a month. So how do you, I mean, are you running that through an algorithm? Is every deal cross your plate?
So not all of them are flips or wholesales. A lot of them are listings too. We're about 60% buys and 40% listings. So we have a really good retail market as well. And my guys, because they get so many bites at the apple, they're animals. They're great.
Yeah.
And so and they know how to price a home. You know, there's too many realtors that are scared to say no to a listing. We say no to more listings than we'd like to, but it's because people have, you know, their expectations are too high.
Right.
We're here to sell your house, not to list your house. And, you know, it's nothing more frustrating than going into a house and you know it's worth $350,000 fixed up and it needs everything. And the realtor before you comes in and says they can get you $400,000 for it. And you're like, you'd be lucky to get 300. And that can be some frustrating because a lot of there's some realtors that really don't know how to comp a house. It's gotten easier with the tools that we have now, but our guys do a really good job. And
So are you looking at like areas, price point, certain buy boxes,
No.
or just return on
we
investment?
we don't have a buy box. It literally is anything and everything. So we buy we buy houses that have caught fire. We buy, you know, $50,000 trailers that need to be, you know, scraped. We buy, you know, I think the most expensive one we bought is like $2.7 million home.
So is this kind of just like the game, like Monopoly, the board game, just like when in doubt, buy?
But that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
We buy. I mean, the numbers have to make sense, obviously.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they do. And you know, I exist for certainty and convenience. If people want to get top dollar, I'm not the guy to buy your house. We have guys that will sell your house and that do a great job that list your house on our team. But as far as why I'm here, it's for certainty and convenience. And you know, a lot of people, I get some slack from some folks from saying like, well, how can you do that? How can you pay $100,000 less than what the house is worth? And I'm like, well, I'm not really paying $100,000 less. So you see a Zillow value worth $400,000, right? I'm buying at $300,000. Well, I'm going to have to put that house would not sell at $400,000 in the condition that it's in. So I put 40 grand into it, pay all the closing costs and you know, the buyer commission and everything else. You know, I'll be lucky to make 30 grand on the home.
Right.
Sometimes
And
that
you have
30
to
grand,
carry it. You have to
yes,
invest in it.
exactly.
You take on the risk.
Yep.
Right.
And some agents just don't understand that.
Right.
They're like, why would you ever sell it for $300,000? And also a lot of people don't care.
Right.
They literally just want, you know, they want to close in 2 weeks. They know the house has a bunch of things wrong with it, and they just want to be done with it and move on and move to the next phase of their life. That happens all the time, and it really is a convenience factor for people, for a lot of sellers. That's why we're in business and doing so many deals, you know, and not only me, but my competitors, you know, they're all doing deals as well.
Right.
So it's
I
made
mean,
it more
we
mainstream.
all know the folks out there that will grind every single last penny. They'll do 42 counters until they get the exact number that they look for. And I think a lot of people have this stance, and I'm one of them. I've bought and sold a lot of, you know, properties and, you know, different things, different ventures I've been in and out or whatever it is. And I'm a big fan of, you know, there's leaving some meat for the next person.
Yeah.
Right? Leaving some for the next person. Like, I don't have to, you know, extract, you know, down to the penny, maybe leave some opportunity for the next person.
You know, that's why I don't buy from other wholesalers. Right. A lot of them, number one, will lie about the value of the home,
Right.
and or, leave out significant detail of that home or leave out a picture of something. But a lot of them, they depend on, they do a lot less deals than us, so those deals are way more important, and they need to get every last dollar out of those homes, which I don't mind, because I have the opportunity to say no, yes or no, and most of the time it's no. But it's when you're not a man of your word. When, like this happened last week, we agreed on a price. He wanted a certain price. We said we paid $10,000 less than that, and he agreed to it. And the next day called us up and said, you know what, I found somebody that would pay the 10 grand more. I'm pulling that from you, and we're not going to do that. And that's happened a couple of times now. And that 10,000 is so short-sighted.
Yep.
Because you've now lost, I have a pretty big name in this industry. Not only am I going to badmouth you to everybody that I know and tell them not to buy from you because this is what you do. You do bad business. And that could have been a relationship that could have done 10, 15, 20, 100 more deals. And now that relationship will never be because of $10,000. I just think that's so short-sighted.
Yep. Well, there's a reason that you've been around, and I don't want to date you by any means. Like, you've been around a couple of years. Let's just say that, right? You've been doing good
31.
business. 31. Okay, you did it. I didn't do it. 31 years doing what you do. There's a reason that you have a great reputation. There's a reason that people look up to you. In our building right now, there's some guys upstairs that have been, the minute you walked in the building, are asking me like, hey, can I extract from Doug? Can I learn from Doug? And if you didn't have a good reputation and you didn't care about what you were doing, then obviously that, it just shines through, right? And
yeah, it was cool because one person put something. It wasn't really negative, but kind of like asking on the real estate agent forum on Facebook, which can be a little hectic on that. I don't know if you've been on that.
Sure.
But someone put something in there that was just like, why would anyone sell to Doug Hopkins? Something to that effect. It wasn't negative, but just like, why would anyone do this? And my gosh, the people that came to my defense in that, people I didn't even know.
Yeah.
That maybe I had a conversation with at one thing or another over the years, or it was cool because I've never screwed another agent. I've never told them something and didn't follow through. So that we're known for, our offers are that's it. Yep. We will, if we put an offer in on there, there's 0 inspection period, and we will close. And any agent out there knows, how many times you get, especially if you have a house that needs a little work. My gosh, you'll get inundated with offers, and they all have 10-day inspection periods.
And then they'll grind you at the end of that inspection period, right?
Exactly.
Yep.
And so they know I come out to the house. I won't make an offer sight unseen. Me or one of my team has to go out to the house, and there will be 0 inspection period. We'll put up $5,000 in front of earnest money. We've never had to pay the $5,000 earnest money because we've always done exactly what we say we're going to do.
Yeah. You lead with integrity. You do what you say you're going to do.
Correct.
You're a man of your word. Again, you're putting people first. Tell me another couple components that are vital if anyone aspires to do what you do, or any investor. Is it guts? Is it grit? Is it willing to take risk? What are some other key components that I think you have to have?
So the way most people get in trouble when they go to start being a first-time investor, number one, depending on somebody else to tell you the value of that home. So there's a lot of people, especially if you have a commission riding on it, right, that are going to say, oh, I think I could justify this house I can push it to $450,000, when it really should be a $420 home. And it doesn't work at $420, but it works at $450. And so if you're depending on somebody who's making a commission on you to tell you the value of that house, that's gotten me in trouble when we ventured out to when we first went out to LA, because we're in LA as well, and then in Chicago, in Philadelphia. When you're depending on people that they're depending on you to buy in order for, they can push values on you just to make it justified. So really know a way to comp.
The expertise.
Yes. Yeah. It really helps to be an agent, I'll tell you that. Yeah. To have access to not just Zillow and Redfin or some of the other tools that are out there, but to really dive deep into those houses and dive deep into the comps and pull up the subdivisions by name, and
Yeah.
so being an excellent comper really, really, really helps. And also, not far behind that is knowing how much a remodel costs.
Yeah.
You know, our average house right now, let's take like a 1,600 square foot 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, newer, say it was built in '99. You built in '99, you're most likely, if the roof hasn't been replaced, you're probably looking at a new roof when you go to put it on the market. Because most buyers are gonna have a real inspection when they get it. They're gonna say, this roof is 27 years old,
Yep.
and you're right at the end of its life expectancy. Same thing with if an AC is over than say 12 years, you're gonna get that. Even though the roof and AC could be tip-top shape, everything's working good, the
Clock is
inspection,
ticking.
the inspection
Yeah.
is going to come back,
Yeah.
and they're going to cover their butts.
Right,
You know that,
right,
and
of
so
course.
and the buyer's going to read that and go, well, we need a new AC and a new roof, you know, which are not cheap now. I mean, roofs and ACs have basically doubled over since COVID.
Yep.
So, you know, our average house on a 1,600 square foot house without a roof and AC is 55 grand. So, you know, I mean, that's cabinets, and I mean, that's, you know, all soup to nuts, you know, everything. But you add another roof and AC, you're looking at another 15. You know, you're between 70 and 75,000 just on a regular standard home.
If someone wants to, like, you know, educate or again get into the space, I mean, where do you start with educating yourself, and is that something that can be done without just diving in and experiencing it yourself, or application?
Yeah, the best thing you could do, I think, is to find a mentor.
Yeah.
Find someone like I did. I worked for free to get my foot in the door. I literally worked for free, and then asked for, hey, what can I help you with as far as dispoing? And so I think I'm not asking people to work for free, but you know, that was the way I got my foot into the door.
Yeah.
You know, getting around people that are actually doing it and learning from them, that helps. I remember my first flip. It was over off of Dobson University in Mesa, and I remember I kept saying to myself, I'm gonna buy the next one, because I kept wholesaling everything else, and I'm like, I'm gonna buy the next one. I'm gonna do it myself. And I finally bought it. I chose like a 1962 house for some reason. I couldn't have stayed with like a tile stucco, easy cookie cutter home. So I got all sorts of pipes and electric and a pool that was just horrific. I got the best college education on that home that I would have gone, because I went to real estate school at Arizona State, and I majored in real estate. I learned more on that project than I did in 4 years at
Application,
ASU.
sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I did everything wrong. I mean, if I could have done it wrong, I did it wrong. I figured out a way to do it wrong. But I learned so much on that, and still wound up making like $12,000 somehow.
Wow.
I should have never made that, but I mean, for all the mistakes that I made, but I wound up making. Man, I was at that house every day, just looking at the, and I remember when I first put it on the market, I was so scared, and but I got it sold in the first week on the market, and I was off to the races.
So, I mean, you built up tremendous expertise, market knowledge. I mean, you stayed within your area at the beginning, right? Mm-hmm. To really make sure that you knew exactly, the numbers, the comps, how to truly value the home.
Yeah.
I mean, what are, kind of back to that question of like, what are some other, key components for folks in this space that are looking to invest and or kind of build a business that you have? I mean, do you chalk it up to work ethic, to grit? Is there a stomach for risk?
So yes, there is a stomach for risk. My longevity. So I remember my first rental property I ever got, and I was so proud. I was in my late 20s, I think, and I had my parents come over and check it out. And my dad said, "You're out of your mind." It's a house I bought for $63,000.
Yeah.
And he said, "You are out of your mind." I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it. I sold that house like 6 years later for over $220,000.
Yeah.
And it rented the whole time. I just upgraded. I did a 1031 exchange. So Yes, having a little bit. I mean, even when I first started going down to the auctions, my dad told me,
Yeah.
he's like, you're doing well what you're doing. Just stay in your own lane. And
Yeah.
and I'm like, Dad, I'm telling you, my life just changed. I know it. I felt it. It was a lightning bolt. It was. The first day down at those auctions, I knew that was it. It's a lot harder now, honestly, Jeremy. I don't know what I would do starting out now.
That's the question. You're taking the question right out of my mouth. Where would you start if you were to start over right now, day one? Where do you start?
So, God, my path is so much different. But if I was to start, if you put me somewhere and say you drop me down in, I don't know, Missouri somewhere.
Or if someone gave you $100,000, they drop you in Missouri, where do you do?
I'd probably go down to the courthouse steps and find where the foreclosure happens, and then I would try to introduce myself and meet everybody that I could possibly meet and talk to them and try to find out what they're looking for, and then try to figure out a way to get what they're looking for, because finding other people what they want is a great way to get in the door with people that you really want to get in the door with. So I would find out what people are looking for and then try to find that for them. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but
Sure.
It'd be really tough without knowing what the market is with $100,000. I've seen so many people have $100,000 and then just poof, and
Yeah.
they buy a bad asset and then
Right.
they make a bad decision because they just want to have a house so bad to flip. They see it on TV and they make it look so easy.
Well, it looks glamorous. It looks
Yeah.
fun. It looks easy.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not
It's
easy.
not. It's
Right.
not. And it's literally so much time, and I can't tell you how many times I would sleep in my office at night. Not anymore, but back in the day, yeah. I would
You have a great office now. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
That's true. I would sleep underneath my desk. I remember coming in. I worked at Realty Executives, and
I've heard of 'em.
yeah, and this was in the '90s, and I was just studying values, and studying subdivisions and price per square foot, and I would sleep underneath my desk and wake up, and sometimes the cleaning people were coming in, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then sometimes I'd fall asleep, and Nancy, who was the front desk girl, would come in, and I'd have to try to go out the back door. She always knew I was there.
Yeah.
She was wonderful. She was awesome. She was always like, I won't tell anyone, Doug, you're good.
Something you've said a couple times now is like, the immersing yourself into the market and to knowledge. And it keeps kind of ringing true that, in this industry, you hear a lot of people, well, I'm the market expert, I'm the area expert. And I think a lot of times that kind of goes by the wayside as like a marketing gimmick almost. But it just, you keep saying it, and it's just sticking in my head of how important that is.
Yeah, and you got to use common sense as well.
I don't know what you're talking about.
When you're, and I go to, and I usually don't do listing appointments anymore, but we talked about it constantly. Like we have meetings constantly. We have at least twice a week we're meeting and just seeing how we can get better. And but we're looking at, all right, let's take the listing. This listing these are ones that we have. This one hasn't sold in 30 days. Let's pull everything in a 5 square mile radius, and let's compare. Let's compare the pictures, similar square footage, and just compare. And then if it's, if ours is like not as good as all these other ones, you have ammunition to go back to the seller and go, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we're priced over. Look at what would you pick?
Right.
And because this one has brand new cabinets, brand new flooring, yours has 20-year-old cabinets and older flooring, and they're very similar in size and whatnot, but this one is better than this one, and that helps to get price reductions because when you're in a market where 1 out of 3 homes is getting canceled or expiring because we're not in the greatest market. I don't know if you know this. We're not in the greatest market in the world right now.
Right,
So.
right, yeah. It's challenging. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the thing. You hear both sides of the equation, right? Some things will go on and they'll move quickly. Other things are just sitting there, and sometimes there's not an explanation for that.
Well, the ones that are moving quickly are the ones that are fixed up, and like most of our stuff sells within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Whenever we put it on the market, it's usually gone because it's like walking into a brand new home.
Yeah.
We don't put lipstick on them like some companies do.
Yeah. One question I like to ask, kind of changing gears just a little bit. One question I like to ask, and again, before Made for More, I used to host another little podcast where we did 1,000+ episodes and talked to all kinds of people over the years that have had a lot of success. And one of the things I'm always curious about people that are operating at a super high frequency, that have experienced a tremendous amount of success. Two things: do you think that you had that work ethic instilled in you? Or is it something that you think you found along the way?
I found along the way. There's no question about it. I'm honestly kind of lazy. I always would try to
appreciate
figure
the
out,
honesty and transparency. Yeah.
Yeah. It was, I mean, look at me. I don't go to the gym. Like, I'm lazy, bro. but I always when I found real estate, or real estate found me actually. I love it. So when you love something, it's not something where it's hard for me to get up in the morning and go, oh, I got to go to work today.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had those jobs where I'm constantly looking at the clock going, dreading the day. I remember school was like that for me.
Yeah, me too.
Where I hated school.
Yeah,
like
me too.
And so my whole adult life, I've been blessed to be able to go to a job where I don't look at the clock and go, oh my gosh. Now there's certain appointments that I have to meet some people that I don't want to spend time with that, kind of made me, but for the most part, I just
so you love what you do,
and that's so important.
You think that you found that work ethic along the way because you found something that you love?
Because I love it, yes.
Okay.
If like golf, I like golf.
Yeah.
But I don't spend time, being a -2 handicap or something like that. I'm a 19 handicap.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I'm not serious about it. Yeah. I was serious about real estate because it was a means to an end for me when I was in my 20s, when I was 24 when I started, and I was broke. I didn't have a penny to my name. I had to borrow the $85 to take the test, and.
Is that something that scares you ever to this day, that you'll never go back there? Or not scares you, that's the wrong word, but maybe is it something that is in the back of your head that continues to fuel you?
To this day, yes. Yeah. I can tell you this, the reason I went to foreclosures, when my parents, they got, and I don't want to embarrass them or anything, but they got a bunch of money stolen from them back in the day, and they thought they were going to get foreclosed on, and I had to sell baseball cards and my bonds that I got when I was born, so that they can make the next couple of payments to get them through to the other side. And so that affected me as a teenager. Yeah. Thinking that you're gonna get your house foreclosed on, and then that affected me to this day. So I was.
Blessing in disguise to a degree.
Yeah, 100%.
I had personally I had a run up in my mid to late 20s where I was doing very, very well. At the same time, I was young and experienced. I hadn't gone through a lot of adversity as a businessman. Mm-hmm. And then, the crash of, 08, the challenges to 08 and 10, I mean, it virtually broke me, where I had to go out and completely build everything. I lost everything, right? So I've been through that adversity before, and it sticks in the back of my mind too that I will never be there again. I will never allow that to happen again, right?
Yeah, I had a really good 2006, and in 2007 I made 10% of what I made in 2006. That being said, because of my experience with that, I never went out and bought all these expensive cars and watches, and all my friends that were making money in the whole boom of 04, 5, 6,
sure,
they all went haywire and bought these big expensive houses, and they all lost them all, and and I didn't do that, and then thankfully, in 2007 basically in 2008, I made the decision to start buying and buying rentals. And I would go to, I remember going to an auction one time, and I'm like, I had never bought in, I think it was out in Peoria or something like that. And I'm like, I don't really buy in Peoria.
Right.
But there was a 3,000 square foot house that was going, it was a 5-bedroom, 4-bath, 3,000 square foot house that was getting bid on, and it was getting sold. It was 88,500 going once, 88.5 going twice, and I'm like, 88.5 for 3,000. I'm like, 89,000, and then I got it, and I'm like, what did I just do? I remember being like, I have no idea. So I drove out there after the auction, and both ACs were gone. And the house needed a pretty good remodel. But I wound up making like $60,000 on that house.
Wow.
On just I mean, the numbers were so crazy. Yeah. You know, I mean, that house is probably worth $550, $600 now. You know, right. But yeah, the numbers were so crazy. There was so much opportunity there. Yeah. Yeah. But I had to, I had to talk my hard money lender at the time into buying, because the hard money lenders got smoked back then. I mean, anything they had in like Buckeye or Santan Valley or Maryvale, or just got creamed, absolutely creamed. Houses that were selling for $270 to $300 were literally selling at the auction block for $50,000, $60,000. Right. While people are still in them, owe $240,000. And so they're like, seeing these houses that come up, and we just put them on, we'd fix them up and put them on for $150, and you got the ones that had the original loans that they can't go any lower than $240, and we're selling them for $150, and they're flying off the shelves. I had to show the hard money lender, like, listen, this is different. Right. We're buying down here. Your numbers were up here. Right. And so, but they had such PTSD from getting smoked in those areas that it took a lot of convincing, but. Yeah. It turned out to be really good.
Yeah. So I was saying, the two things, right, that I'm always curious about people operating at a very high level. We talked about that first one with the work ethic, and I think you've kind of naturally, through just chatting here, have gone into the second one already of like what keeps us hungry. What keeps, after you've experienced a level of success, of like what keeps us continuing to be motivated, and maybe that's in the back of our head of like, I'll never allow myself to get back into a space that I was. And the other kind of component of this for me is that, I think whether you're born with the work ethic, and I think some people have it instilled early along, maybe by who they're influenced by, or maybe their parents of influencing. Like for me, I was very influenced by my parents about like hard work. They weren't college educated. They weren't, like they were about like, we're going to work hard, you're going to get a job early along, you're going to bust your butt, right? And there's no other way. I've talked about on this very show, like I don't have some fancy college degree. I've just tried to outwork everybody around me, so, and then again, when you reach that little bit of a success, what keeps us going and motivated and hungry to continue growing and building, right?
So I went through this, I call it a problem, but it was a process. About 2 years ago. 2 years ago, my last daughter moved out of my house, and it was just me and my girl living there. And she was getting married, and she was getting married, and I've made some good money, and I've made some good decisions along the way, and I lost my purpose. My purpose has always been my family and to provide for my family, and I've done that. And now I was a little lost, to be honest with you. I went to a mastermind group that I belonged to out in California, and I started asking everyone around me, "What's your purpose? Why do you do this?" And they had a lot of them had the standard answer, "Oh, I do it for my family, I do blah blah blah," all this stuff, and I'm like, nothing was resonating with me.
Yeah.
And I was really frustrated, and so much so that I just blew off the mastermind group, and I went to the front desk of this beautiful hotel, and it was on the ocean, and I had a room overlooking the backside of the place, and I said, "Do you have any rooms with an ocean view?" And they said, "We have one, and it's the presidential suite." I said, how much? And they told me, and I'm like, how many days? I got 3 days left. I'm like,
Doing the math.
give it to me.
Yeah.
So I went up there and I went out on the patio and I listened to the water and I got out my iPad and I just started looking on YouTube for what's my purpose? What's the purpose of my life? And just listening, and I'm like, nope. Listen to the first 30 seconds or a minute. Nope. Next one. I sat there for 3 hours just doing that. And he apparently, every once in a while, putting it down and just looking out the ocean.
Right. Trying to find
and
it.
just kind of looking up and just asking for answers. And I came across a video of all people, Steve Harvey. You know who Steve Harvey
Sure,
is?
sure.
I think he does Wheel of Fortune, not Wheel of Fortune, it's
Family
Family
Feud,
Feud.
yeah,
Yeah. And he came out with, your purpose is the one thing that you do best. The one thing that you don't even have to think about. He goes, I don't care if it's making chicken, making pies. And he went the whole thing about Marie Callender. It started out with one pie, one piece of pie, then turned into one pie. Then now she's in every store in America for the most part. But it resonated with me. I've been living my purpose. My purpose is exactly what I was describing earlier.
Yeah.
It's going into families' houses, it's making a deal, and not only that, affecting their lives and affecting the people that work for DougHopkins.com's lives. Not only DougHopkins.com, but Sellers Advantage in California. The amount of people that we've been able to help, not only on the sellers, but the people that work for us and where they've come from and where they were and where they are now, and seeing them, multiple people at my company buying their own houses, flipping their own houses. Kids that started out with me that literally didn't have a penny, now having 6 figures in the bank. People that came to me that were bartenders that are now have all sorts of houses and buying their own houses and and affect people and affect change in this industry. It's awesome to see.
Yep.
And so I'm living my best life and I'm living my purpose, and it couldn't be better.
Cheers to that, man. I mean, that's amazing. I love that. I mean, you are living your best life, and you are making a difference, and you are changing countless lives, through the things that you do every single day. And again, I know a whole bunch of folks on your team, that are just incredibly honored to be around you and learn from you, and you're changing their lives too. I mean, it's a special thing what you're doing. And I'm honored to know you, and call you a friend and a partner and a business partner and all the different things that we do. I mean, it's awesome. You know what I mean? So there's lots to be proud of. And
yeah, we just got rid of. We had a company that was doing like those 40-year listings.
Yeah.
And they had like 1,000 of them around town or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I brought it to the attention of the commissioner on one of our deals. And
we won't say their name.
We're not saying their name, but I can tell you that all of those memorandums are no longer valid in the state of Arizona, and it's perfect.
Hey, cheers to that.
And
cheers
it's
to that.
because I saw that, and I saw a wrong that was being wrong, a right that needed to be wronged, or a wrong that needed to be righted.
Yep.
There you go. And
I mean, you're changing folks' lives that might not even know, right? They might not even know that they were affected or that they could have been affected in the future.
Yep.
Just by doing what's right, right? By doing what's right for the community and for the industry as a whole. So, couple things before we let you off the hook here. Your messaging and your marketing has continued to evolve throughout the years. I see it now evolving where it's not just a message about buying folks' homes, but also the listing side of the business.
Yeah.
So how do you look at your messaging and matching the market, and how's that continuing to evolve?
So, a lot of people, I'm known for buying houses. I mean, from my first commercial, it was, I'm Doug Hopkins and I want to buy your house. Like the first commercial I've ever done, and I still use that to this day. In fact,
we should do it for everybody right now.
Yeah.
You kind of just did, actually.
Which camera? Yeah. No, it was great. When my last daughter got married, I had to give the speech. And I said,
they asked you to say that too?
No. They asked me to speak for 5 minutes, and I said, yeah, that's not happening. So I went on for like 25 minutes. But my first line was like, for those of you who don't know me, My name's Doug Hopkins. I'm the father of the bride, and I want to buy your house. And the whole place went nuts. It was great.
That's
Yeah,
great.
it was fantastic.
Nice.
So, but yeah, it's a lot of people don't know that we do that as well, unless we tell them on the phone when they call in that hey, you just bought this last year, and there's not going to be enough equity to buy it, but we'll send an agent out, and it's that part of our business has really grown quite a bit. I know because I have to buy new signs and new lock boxes every few months.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, absolutely.
So yeah, that's been a major form of growth, and that growth is because of Dylan Martin. Dylan.
Shout out.
He wound up. He tried to do his own thing with my blessing, and figured out it's not as easy as it looks to do, and came back and said, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. So he's going to be an entrepreneur within my organization, and so he gets a piece of everything that we get on that side. So he's been growing that tremendously.
Awesome.
And he's done a wonderful job training and hiring new folks to come in and do
awesome.
The traditional side of the business.
I mean, again, your messaging is direct. You do what you say. You lead with integrity. Can't say it enough that you lead with the heart and take care of people, and it shines through whether you're behind a TV screen or whether we're sitting here now, right? And so, last question for you. Someone out there wants to compete with you right now in your market, our market. What advice would you give them? And the flip side of that, what's something that you hope that they'd never figure out?
Hey, really nice meeting you. Great podcast.
I love it.
That's fantastic.
I love it.
No, I'd say find a different state.
Yeah. There you go.
No, it's
Hey, that's fair. That's fair.
No, it's hard to compete. There's a lot of guys that can do it on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
If you're going to get into the the TV end of it, it's going to be tough because there's a lot of people spending a lot of money on TV right now. So I see a lot of people come and go. They'll think spending $20,000 a month is going to
cut it.
Yeah,
Just won't.
It just won't.
Yep.
Not when you have people in the industry that are spending a lot more than that.
Yep.
So I would say there's a lot of other ways to do it. We don't do the outbound stuff, but there's a lot of people that are still doing text messages and cold calling and stuff like that. There's people that are going out and knocking doors and getting lists. Mailers have been pretty good as well. You can do mailers, and radio is pretty cheap actually to do that. So I would stay in that. TV is.
It's a whole nother animal.
It's a whole other animal, honestly.
Yep.
Yeah. But people are, I enjoy talking to a lot of the new guys coming up and giving them some pointers, and some make it and some don't. It's kind of the nature of the beast. But if you have a passion for it, there's no better business in the world. I'll tell you that. I love it. I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your contribution to the industry. Thanks for all the value that you add to everyone around you, to the brokerage here, and like I said, to the industry as a whole. So
awesome.
Really appreciate your time, sharing with everybody. Until next time, hey, everyone out there, keep being made for more. We'll see you soon.